Quite frankly, there's a divide between the streets and the suites, right? The rich and the poor. This is a working class or a movement, and this is not Park Avenue. You can't learn about this in art school. You can't learn about this when you learn art history. The architects of this movement, a few of them are still alive. You can access them. There hasn't been an institution that said, we want to own this, or we want to commit to collecting this, to presenting this consistently. I was waiting for someone else to do it. And what I found out that the art world is very snobbish. And so not too many people want to touch it.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Now, this is typically a special week for Wynwood, isn't it?
It is. This is the Art Basel Art Miami week, and so it's bustling here. Not this year as much as in the past.
Yeah, but also it's a special week for you too.
That's right. This is our 1-year anniversary week.
Yeah, that's crazy. How long did it take you to create this beautiful place?
I think a lifetime, but you know, the work, it took us about a year to put it together, and then we opened last year for Art Basel, a week. And so yeah, so we're celebrating our first year, COVID and all.
Well, it's part of the package.
That's it.
That's it.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Now, you're a native New Yorker.
That's right.
Nice, so am I.
I got my Brooklyn hat on.
And you left some marks up there during your career too, didn't you?
I try to leave them every time I visit.
Yeah. And you got spanked once though too, I understand.
A few times, but yeah, once pretty severely.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things of being a writer, a graffiti writer, is that you paint illegally. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I do that, and it's a cat and mouse thing. And as technology has advanced, the cat and mouse thing is a bit different, you know, and it's very easy to arrest writers that own computers or are on social media. They sort of, as the cops said, they snitch on themselves by sharing information online. And so for me, it wasn't necessarily that. It was sort of a culmination of that. And you know, I was accused of many vandalism crimes, painting trains, which I, you know, don't admit to, but I love painting trains at the same time, right? But it was tough. I think any time that you have police contact, it's very tough and can be very dramatic. Mm-hmm. And when you have a court case, as was the case with me, that was very drawn out and sort of sensationalized and politicized, it was unpleasant. And so it was a very unpleasant experience for me. And I learned a lot about the corruption of the judicial system and of the police and of the transit authority and how they manipulate things and how they really hurt you. They have an agenda, try to destroy you, you know, through inflated fines and, you know, the economics of it all. Mm-hmm. But I made it through, a bit crippled.
But did it set your brand up though, right? So I think Outlaws, right? Outlaws become a hero at times to a community that is like, yeah, let's go. He did it, right? So on one side, are they helping you as almost a martyr where they're trying to set an agenda to make an example of you, yet this community is like, man, go out?
Well, I think that they had a piece or a part in that. I think, I was already an outlaw, and I was already a very known outlaw. I was very outspoken and just on the scene and doing projects that were very big, and I think that that's why I was on their radar, because I was involved in suing the city and doing things that were maybe frowned upon by the politicians, and I think that they helped give me more exposure and definitely made me more of a globally recognized figure. But it's also because of the way that they chose to spin it and sort of sensationalizing it, and then I ran with it. So I worked in PR and I worked in marketing and advertising and fashion and all this stuff, so I understand how to play that game. And so I just took it and ran with it and pumped it up, and when my lawyers would say not to talk to the press, I would talk to the press. And when my lawyers would tell me not to say that, I would say that, and it dialed it up, and it made it a global thing. And I can't say that I necessarily used it for my benefit, because I'm not like an artist that sells work, but I think that it made it so that I was known and just sort of a vocal member of this artistic community that wasn't scared to talk about corruption and police and the law and illegality and doing outlaw art. And I think it's important sometimes to have a voice in a community and speak the truth. This has been on my wall for 20 years in my home before it made it here.
These artists are persecuted for their art. That's really interesting.
It's the only art form that artists are persecuted for doing that I've ever heard of.
Thank you for sharing this beautiful facility with me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you. It's an honor for us.
Tell me about the facility. Tell me about the spirit you started it with and the intention of the facility here in Wynwood.
This facility was built 45 years ago, and this was built and was opened principle with the intention and the idea to serve the seniors in this area, most of them Puerto Ricans, because at that time the Wynwood was the Puerto Rican point in Miami. So this facility was a group of Puerto Ricans who decided to have this here, and that's why the name is the Hostos. Are you familiar with the Hostos? It's a picture from Puerto Rico. So that's what's the name. So this is a facility to serve the seniors who live alone, isolated, who live family disenfranchised. So that's why the facility serves as a family extension for them. So I started here first as a social worker in 1989. I was only for 1 year social worker here. And after that I left in 2015. I come back, and until now I'm running the facility and running the program. Actually, when we started, the facility was only 20, 30 people maximum here. Now we go over 200 people here, and we serve up to 2,000 people here, because we have a program that we have not only people that are registered in the facility, also people that came to receive service here. We are serving more than 2,000 people here in no more time. That's why now, with this closing pandemic, we are being, feel strange, because we miss a lot of people here.
Soy Norma del Pozo, pintora, y un día por casualidad vine acá porque necesitábamos resolver un problema en las oficinas, y me gustó el lugar y le pedí permiso a Vicente para que me dejara enseñar a pintar a los señores que a veces que ese día los vi callados, serios, y yo soy muy novelera en las cosas, para enseñar, para distraerme, para reír. Y ya tengo 3 años aquí viniendo y pintábamos las paredes, que esté bonita.
This is yours?
Yes. Yes.
And what do you have there?
Es una acuarela en cartulina.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Este es el que más me gusta. Es un lobo, porque yo lo considero fiel, ama a sus patrones, ama la manada, la defiende, los cuida, el lobo.
1989, when I worked here the first time, from that corner over there, you cannot walk. You cannot even walk. It was very dangerous at that time. Now it's totally different scenario because they have a lot of cultural things going on, galleries, restaurants. So, but at that time, it was totally different. Now the area changed for positive.
The people who come into here, Dos Hostos, have they been residents in the local area for the long time?
Yes. I would say the Puerto Rican that we are here, we have some residents here that have been here in the area for 45 years.
And now that you've been affected by COVID, I mean, look at this world we're living in, right? I
Right.
understand the need for it. Are there certain seniors that you've lost touch with during this time that might have used this as an area to congregate?
Let me tell you, in a way we lose contact with them, but we try to enforce that the staff keep calling them every single day to check on them, to check how they are, they're getting their medication, if they receive, because since March 15, we start to serve their meals at home. So we call them every day to check if they received the meal, how was the meal, it was hot, it was good condition, how they feel. So we check their well-being every day. Even myself, I have done, because me as a social worker, I'm familiar with support groups, so I do support group over the phone. So I use my iPhone, I can put 6 people online, and me with the 6 people talking, that would be in a support group. That's a waste of time I use for those people who are more isolated. So we keep contact with them, and also every Monday we are serving food bank here, food bank drive-through. So through that door there, they come with a car, and they can pass by, and we put their food in the trunk. They cannot go out of the car. So that's the way that we keep contact with them.
And so is there a timeline for you right now? Is it 6 months, a year, 2 years?
I haven't heard it yet, but I will say soon, because this land was for sale, like the one across the street, which is a parking lot, and that one was already sold.
What do you think about when this gets sold and the doors close?
Knowing me, I will get a bunch of seniors, go to the front of the city hall and make a big protest.
But is the dollar going to win, or is conscience going to win?
Conscience is going to win,
Conscience is going to win, you have no doubt.
no doubt. Because sometimes we face cutting funding, and I go and I take a bunch of seniors to the commission meeting, and I protest, and we get the funds back. I have faith that not me, the power of the people will win.
And if we don't,
No, they have to win.
no choice?
No choice. The power of the people is the one going to win. And the power of God.
I hope he's a capitalist.
Bueno, eso desde pequeña me gustaba pintar y dibujar, aunque a mi papá no le gustaba, porque decía que no era una profesión productiva. Y no, es saberla manejar para poder triunfar en ella y ganar el sustento supongamos, de una familia. Y eso hice yo, a base de mis trabajos de arte en textiles, pude mantener a mi familia y a mi esposo que estaba inválido, que estaba enfermo. Entonces, aquí también en las casas que yo estuve, a los niños que vivían ahí, yo les enseñaba a pintar y el idioma que hablaran correctamente el español, ¿no? Que no pusieran modismo ni el English Spanish, ¿no? Entonces me querían y hasta ahora conservo las amistades de donde yo he trabajado y he procurado ser la alegría del lugar donde estoy, hacerlos reír, hacerlos bailar, hacerlos. Y me emociono mucho. Sí. Y yo tuve aquí unos compañeros de de local, digo, y así de mesa o compañeros de vida aquí en este lugar, y los vi que como que renacieron a un mundo que no conocían y aprendieron a pintar. Y, sino que se van, se fueron los que más les gustaba pintar. Y solo quedó uno que todavía me dice que sí está pintando.
Do you miss being here every day since the pandemic with your people?
Ahora con la pandemia los extraño mucho. Esto para usted. Para usted.
Gracias.
For you.
Gracias.
Sí. ¿Y quiénes más están aquí de jefe?
El que está aquí a la
El
izquierda
director, sí.
es el director.
Ay, ¿cuál?
El que está, she wants to know, Marco, who you are.
Al frente mío.
Sí, el que está ahí.
Gracias.
Ya. Y dos más. Que
She
sí.
says she wants to give 2 more paintings to somebody that can take it.
Ya.
Leah? I guess Nicole, you want to get the other? Gracias.
Y este para ti.
Oh, she's gonna. Gracias, muchas gracias. Ay, verdad.
Gracias.
Y yo le agradezco a Vicente que me permitió estar aquí.
Tell her I'm sure she makes many people happy, and I'm very thankful for this. Can I hug her?
Sí.
Dice que sí le puede abrazar.
Ah, claro que sí, me encanta que me abracen.
She says she loves for people to hug her.
Gracias.
Gracias también a usted. Uy, ay, ay.
So, Art Basel, typical streets for Art Basel?
Absolutely not, man. Like, even at this time of the morning, Saturday, traffic is crazy. I mean, this is depressing out here right now for everybody. You know, I mean, I'm from New York, but I know personally for Miami people, like, especially the graph stores, the people who do and make money on art here every year, it's fucked up for them right now, man, because of what's going on in the world.
Now at 5:30, Art Basel, the world-renowned art fair in Miami Beach, is canceled.
Hard to hear that. Officials say they made the decision because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Art Basel Miami Beach announced it's canceling this year's event due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Art Basel is canceling its famed festival this year.
It's sad. It's sad.
And this week attracts a lot of people who are artists, who are writers, who are bombers. Where are you falling there?
Well, I mean, I definitely fall into the bomber category.
What does that mean to me?
To me, to you, that
Yeah.
means,
Like when I look around here.
right. Well, you're gonna see me out on the streets, hitting the not so legal spots. You know, I mean, there's a lot of artists out here, you know, and I don't want to take away from them. I don't want to take away from the muralist. I don't want to take away from anybody who pieces. I don't want to take away from anybody who does cutty spots. But like, that's not the definition of what I am. I'm a bomber. I hit the streets, but I also do all that everybody else does because I'm about longevity. You know, I want my name to be seen everywhere. Obviously, you know, my conquest as of 2013 was to achieve all 50 states, and I finally just did that this year.
You hit all 50.
all 50 states.
Hawaii, Alaska?
Hawaii, Alaska, and that's, you know, it's funny because everybody always asks that
That was
question.
first too, right.
Alaska, yes, Alaska, the largest state in America. You know, 2020, I understand for everybody out there, it's been a tough year, but I don't want to throw it in anybody's face. It's actually been a great year for me, you know, and as far as life accomplishments, you know, and shit like that, you know.
So you doubled down, started the pandemic. Where were you at when March came around? What state were you on?
I was home.
Yeah.
I was home.
Yeah.
I was home with my wife, and she forbid me to fly. Yeah, all right. You know, I want to let everybody know I'm a family man. You know, I have a 14-year-old daughter. I have a 12-year-old son. And being a bomber is a lot, you know, and being into graffiti the way I am is a lot, especially I've been into it since I was 13 years old. I'm 40. And it's all about balance, though. I know how to balance it out the right way so that everybody's happy. My wife is tolerant to it to an extent. She signed up. She signed up for it.
So you didn't become a bomber after you got married?
No, she already
knew. What she was
knew.
getting into.
She already knew, so she signed up, you know? And my kids, you know, obviously your kids are gonna look up after you, you know, so they love the art too.
Are they bombing themselves?
You know, they're not to that point yet. They're not to that point yet, but you know, my daughter is super artistic. My mother-in-law, Marguerite, she's very artistic. So, you know, sometimes the genes skip, you know? And my daughter is super artistic.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
So you declare yourself, you share your art on the walls as a bomber. What does that mean? Middle of the night, middle of the day? How does that roll itself out?
Well, you know, typically for a bomber, just to put it out there as far as what people think, it's mostly at night. But because I'm a little older and I look a little older, I have a little bit of an edge with that during the day with the police, because if I make it look legal, they think it's legal and I get away with it. And that's what happens. And I put that a lot on my Instagram, and people are like, oh my God, how do you get away with it during the day? It's not for everybody. You know, it's a skill, just like anything else that you do over and over and over again. You get to be better at it. You want to be a bomber, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. And that's it, just like anything else. You wanna be a piecer, you want a piece, if that's what you wanna do in your graffiti career, you go to spots where you could piece. And as much as you piece, you're gonna get better.
So how much time do you give yourself when you're gonna be bombing? I mean, like, so is it 10 minutes? Is it an hour and a half? I mean, your risk stretches out quite a bit once you're sitting on the spot as a target for a while too.
I mean, you know, I'm a numbers guy, so like when I'm going to go bombing, my thing is just get as many fillings as I can for the night. The time is really, it could fluctuate depending on where you are. You know, I could get some paint right now and do something in 2-3 minutes. You know, I could do it straight through. I was in Canal Street filming a scene for my movie. It took me like half hour to do one, just because the cops gotta stop. This guy gotta stop. The cab might be a cop, gotta stop. Like, it's, you know, people don't understand that. Like, they just think, oh, all 50 and that's it. There's a lot of stress that goes
And you
behind.
you gotta be artistic while you're in distress.
Yes, you gotta be artistic. You gotta have clean hands. You know, you gotta be on point.
What do we got here?
Oh man, this is obviously who I am, Neo US, and this is a memorial for my cousin Michael Sanford, and it's gonna be tough talking about it. It's like a father figure to my son when I wasn't around and I was locked up. He's actually my wife's first cousin, my mother-in-law's first cousin. But like I said, you know, some people really touch you, you know, and he was one of them. And my family really misses him, especially my son. I didn't want to cry, but
Nothing wrong.
I don't care, you know what I'm saying? Anybody who sees this, I'm a gangster. I cry, I'm a real man, you know? I cry for the people I love and the people I miss. My boy Polo, Nast. I'll see you guys when I get up there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, man.
You got it. That's wild.
Man, I knew that was gonna happen.
Nothing fucking wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing fucking wrong with that. Feels good though, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it always does, you know? It just sucks because he just passed away like really recently, and I was locked up for some real dumb shit that happened 4 years ago in some backwards ass state, and it just hurt my family so bad, and I wasn't there for them, and oh man, you know? The guilt, you know? When you become a grown man, different things impact you, you know? Shout out to my mother. She's fucking rock. Shout out to my wife. Like, I couldn't be here free and alive without those people and my children. For real, you know, they've saved my life.
¿Qué pasó? Mira, Rafa, gratis para todos los locos, ¿qué? Papito, mi cable. Cale. Límpiese el lente.
Hey, Joe. Pleasure.
Maximum expression of coolness in the planet.
This is the mayor of Wynwood.
Me and my friend Ruben Vieira, which is one of the best artists in Florida. I worked for him for many years as a helper, and then I developed my own thing. And now we're partners, and we share this space.
So I also know you run transportation business out of here.
I do. Keep that.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, super. Thank you very much.
We run the gallery, and besides the gallery, we run this company called Wynwood Boogies. So usually we do about 500 to 600 people every month. It's only art. We don't do parties, we don't drink, we don't hang out, we don't have the bicycles, we're a curated art tour. Okay, go ahead. Fucking crazy.
Right?
So all this, the building, this building, this building, which was your bodies with the robots.
Yep.
And the building behind us and the building at the corner was painted last year. I organized an event called Meeting with Styles. We brought 140 artists from 25 different countries.
Really?
That was the robots building.
Yeah, that was the robots
Now they
building.
moved this
That's
one.
right. Yeah, they just went, they're right here now?
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
This one was part of that event. And this is the one-ups. These are like the most hardcore graffiti writers in the world right now. These guys are like next level, like vandalism, but like next level shit. We painted, we put together that mural for them. We brought them in. We have that piece, which was the best piece from last year. So last year was pretty epic.
And that was that during this week?
Tony Art
for
Basel, yeah.
So
Exactly a year, exactly today. So in comparison to this year, it's kind of crazy because this year, you know.
Do you still have some of the artists coming in though?
No, this year no.
No, they're not
This
even
year
coming
we're
in.
doing nothing because of the COVID.
Yeah.
It's weird because I was sitting in my office checking emails and shit when you guys come, which I have done that in, I don't know,
'Cause you
in
wouldn't
1
have
year.
been able to,
In
right?
1 year. This is my friend Sekis from Chile. He's amazing.
It's cool colors.
Yeah.
Very cool
He
colors.
just did that one. A couple artists came and tried to do stuff. You know, like he did that one. There are a couple of murals going on. I want to go to see my friend Alexis Diaz. That's Atomic, that little orange.
Yep.
It's Atomic. He's a local artist. He's everywhere. A lot of graffiti is going to happen because, you know,
Right.
nothing else is.
People are going to throw things up.
For sure. And but that's what makes all this shit fresh. Graffiti is what keeps this alive. If you take graffiti away, then everything else goes to hell. You know, that's the energy of this street art stuff, you know. People came here because of the art. But the corporations buy these buildings, they knock down the walls, they build storefronts because then we have no space to paint.
And this has classically been Art Basel Week,
Oh, yeah.
right? That one hurt, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, I've been part of, in some form or fashion, for 7 years.
Yeah.
This is the first year that there is no Art Basel. I mean, it's a big kind of kick in the butt, I think, for everybody. Not just Wynwood, but all of Miami. I mean, because it doesn't just affect us. You know, the other half of the high-end art is on the beach, but all those people stay all over Miami. And the amount of people that come in for Basel is, I mean, it's massive. And the amount of money that they bring in just to put into the local, you know, economy is huge. And for us not to have that it hurts everybody.
As a community, it hurts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So you're not alone in this.
No, not at all. I mean, every single business in Wynwood I know is probably hurting because we don't have that influx. And it's not just about the parties. I mean, it's, you know, also you have all the other artists going around painting new paintings. It generates a lot of vibe and feel for the neighborhood. But like I said, you know, every restaurant has people that it's busy. Everything is busy. We're busy. I mean, and,
Do you think it's going to be just pushed forward as we get through probably the first half of 2021? Thoughts on that?
I mean, I would like to say yes, but that at the same time, I mean, it's always been that set time of year, that first week of December. You know, it's always been that. How much would it change the vibe and feel of that if you just all of a sudden changed it to March or April? I mean, it would be a completely different feel, I think.
Yeah.
So, I've been curating a lot of walls here for many years. So, I have more than 150 walls here, which I only paint one or two. This one I painted a couple days ago.
This one you just
Yeah,
did?
so I do stuff that people can interact with it because we're losing that. And that's what worries me about what's happening here, you know? And then this wall, all these walls, pretty soon, like in a couple months, they're gonna be knocked down and they're gonna do stuff like this.
Really?
Yeah. See, it's all closed. They already bought them and closed them.
I mean, have things changed over the 7 years since I've been here? Absolutely. I mean, Wynwood's vibe has changed. I mean, it's more, I think, going a little more commercialized versus the grit and grime that it used to be 7, 8 years ago.
Good or bad? Or different?
It's different. It's different. I won't say whether it's good or bad.
The company that gets it calls you and tells you like, yo, we love art. We're so down with art. I want my logo here and everything else white. I'm like, so are you down because you follow me? I'm like, how does that work? And then even if they're really down and they want to spend the money and they want to hire you, what am I going to do here? What can I do in this 4 feet of wall? When this is what we used to paint. We're muralists. We're not like freaking like sticker makers, you know. So it's tough, and that concerns me. But nobody gets it. Nobody fucking talks about it. And me, I'm getting hurt by talking about it right now because a couple of the people that give me work, if they see this, that's it. But you know, the truth is the truth, and this is what really happening.
It's definitely more commercialized now. I mean, which is not bad because the commercialized aspect of it is also, they're putting money behind bringing in more artists. So that also drives that. Because before, a lot of the guys, which kind of added to the grit and grime, were calling up whoever leased the building or owned the building, just like, hey, you got an empty wall. Let me paint on that wall. Now it's like, hey, I'll paint on your wall, but it's going to cost you XXX. You know what I mean?
So that changed the dynamic.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, you know, it's getting that commercialized aspect of it that they know that people are coming in just for that. Before it was like they wanted to showcase their brand, their art, and get that out there for exposure. And it was like, I'll do it for free. You know, because that's what it was. It was just like, hey, I got this dope piece I want to put up. Let me do it. I'm not going to charge you. I mean, now it's like, hey, if you got a wall, yeah, I'll paint, but it's like, let's talk money.
I made this one last week. And I make this caricature. I made that one in tribute to Maradona. You know Maradona live?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And I make these shit so people can just like get on it, you know what I mean?
Right.
You see people doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah. But like you said, you can interact with this.
Absolutely, but that's what they came here for, you know?
Well, I was a CPA for 15 years.
Makes sense then. Okay, got it.
Right, graduated Masters of Accounting, did CPA for 15 years. Hated sitting behind a desk, so I had to have a hobby. And I loved cooking and got into experimenting with brewing beer at home. That basically became a full-time hobby, brewing 2-3 times a week, doing beer fests, letting my buddies drink the beer, taking it to festivals for people to try, and the reception from that was like, you need to open your own brewery. I was like, whatever, So that turned into basically reality when I left my job in 2013 after brewing homebrew for 10 years, and went to work for another brewery up in Tampa, Cigar City.
To learn?
Absolutely. Yeah. Started at the bottom, cleaning kegs, doing packaging.
Whoa, you moved from being a CPA with a master's in finance
to $10.50 an hour.
Fuck, you were committed.
Yeah. From bottom to top, I learned the business.
Apprenticeship.
Right, basically that's what it was for me. I did not want to start my own business without knowing all the ins and outs of how to do this thing. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I did.
You guys want to drink some beer?
This wall, I have control of it. Certain point, because really nobody's on the books. So I gave it to my friends to paint it. They painted last year. We did a mashup with like 20 different graffiti writers. And this year my friends were painting it, and last night they got arrested. So on top of all this shit, we're trying to make art, and then now the police and the cities in our houses, because they have no business, because Wynwood, because Basel was gone, they need all this money. So it's like at one point, which is very close, I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And then when that happens,
this whole thing falls
community, and I've been trying to push, and I'm like on the ground on my own, but it's just at one point, it's like, fuck it. How much am I gonna push, Like, how far can I do it? I can't fight against these people. I got no money, I got no shit.
In the past, Basel has always been this time not just for creating art, but a reunion, So it's bringing people together, it's creating community through that unity every year in December of not just the local art community, but it's so international. So you get these special moments that are sparked when you have different artists from different backgrounds and cultures all kind of working together and collaborating. And so we started looking at all the virtual event platforms that were out there and all the virtual art fairs that the other people started rolling out over the summer. And none of them were exciting to us. They lacked emotion, they lacked, actual human interaction connection. So then we went down this whole other path of like, okay, how do we just do everything that they're not doing so we can actually do something we'd want to participate in ourselves? And so we really studied up on the whole concept of like a hub and spoke model, and then also hybrid event formats.
around this time of year, everybody sort of, congregates, and this is the home base.
This is the week though, usually, and this is not a typical Art Basel week, right? We would not be able to stand here and not have people.
Exactly, yeah. Usually because of the, COVID-19 and that sort of thing, usually we probably have a hard time right now just standing here in the street. Usually the streets are filled with vehicles and people going crazy, and a lot of big influx of people just coming in, and they want to see the sights and they want to be seen and they want to go out to eat and that sort of thing, and have fun and take pictures in front of them. When something's going up like this mural, that's
This is big though in relative terms, right?
Yes.
This is a big piece.
What we like to do as a crew, we got so many different talents, and we all work good together. We mesh, so I'll come in, and someone else will come in over that, add their technique
Their
or style.
technique, yeah. What are you known for?
I'm known more for my graffiti that I do, for the old school New York style.
Yeah.
And then also some of the abstract stuff, like what we did in your studio.
Yeah, Lola.
Something like that.
I fall in love with her every day when I see her, man.
It's great. I love it. Every time I go there. I was just there the other day, and it's like, hey. Yeah, it's a good one.
So you guys, this is what, like 40 by 200, this mural?
Yeah, this is 40 by 200. This is not the largest one, but it's probably the second largest one we ever done. The other one was the Star Wars wall.
Yeah.
When we did that, that was probably the largest mural at the time in Miami that anyone's ever done. That one, it's been around for a while.
And this is a collaboration of the MSG crew, right?
This is a collaboration of the MSG crew, yeah.
So knowing that painting murals in an outdoor space is probably one of the most COVID-friendly activities we could get involved in right now, we said, okay, we can still paint. COVID can't stop, a culture of street art and graffiti. Like, people are going to be painting whether there's a festival or not.
It's pretty quiet because of what's going on, but I prefer it this way when it's quiet. Get more into what you're doing, and it's just easier to work that way.
Yeah. So you don't look for the performance, right?
No. Yeah, it's all, just to come here, do my thing, and it's more like a hobby. Like some people play golf or they're into cars. I'm into painting, graffiti.
Yeah.
What we were able to put out this year isn't a big cocktail party. It's an actual urban art fair, and backed, by galleries and backed by art sales, so we can keep that dollar cycle flowing back to the artist and keep revenue streams going into their pocket so they can keep doing, what they're good at.
And an extension to all of our artists and artists from all around the world that didn't come. Like, they literally were able to do either paint on canvas and record it or record live with us while we broadcasted that. So they were a part of Basel from home. They can't travel here, but there's a good group of our core group now that are not here at all, but they were a very big part of what's going on from Germany, from Amsterdam.
So as we look forward, right, as most businesses, and it's not just the artist perspective, but I think any business right now, we were just at a brewery early this morning in town here, Wakefield it was, right? And he couldn't have people come in and drink. And so what did he have to do? He had to pivot to digital. And he had to pivot to digital and go online. And when we return back to whatever that normal horizon's going to be, I think it's now going to be accretive. Now you can share your art around the world, and maybe I can't afford to come to Miami for Basel, but I can still attend it. And so next year, you become more inclusive, don't you?
I believe so. I believe that with the expansion of technology and things like that, with VR and AR, we're teed up for that already. So I think it gives us all the work that we've done and that they've done put together. Once the AR glasses are really something the consumer base will have on a daily basis, we're going to be right there ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And so as artists, you just solved the problem in another way using your art.
Correct. And Steffi's brain.
and bringing all those people together, all the pieces, because it's not just artists, it's creative technologists, it's the engineers, it's the designers, it's all these different components that make it reality now. So it's no longer just putting paint on a wall. It's a whole team behind that.
A little less of a crowd out here this week, right? I'm told that typically there'd be painters and writers and artists up and down the wall.
Usually the streets are so packed, it's hard to drive through them. There's just people everywhere. It's like a huge block party for blocks and blocks and blocks. Yeah, there's some people down here, but nothing like it usually is.
It usually is, yeah.
So normally when I get here for Basel, the last 2 years, I think, maybe 3, the streets are all blocked off.
Yeah.
Cops not in the car, the sirens are, they just leave the car there with the sirens. There's just people up and down and crowds everywhere. There's none of that. There's nothing.
What we've all learned, though, is the importance of how do we be creative to keep the community moving forward.
You see today, nothing in this neighborhood has changed in 25 years.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's a bad thing.
The big art fairs and large events are paused, but this community is stronger when we're together.
The things being painted here brought up the value. It should be appreciated, not looked at as a horrible thing. Like you don't want someone writing in your fucking car or your house. I get it, I understand.
If people aren't improving and respecting their properties, things just eventually start to look bad.
Let's look at that and think as we move forward with in-person events or with virtual and digital. How do we make a stronger community?